So I really look at I love a challenge though, and I'm just so proud of every bit of it. We went through a whole roller coaster of.
In a move that left Hollywood reeling, Marvel has taken the stunning step of filing a lawsuit against none other than Blake Lively. Known for its careful, almost secretive nature, Marvel rarely engages in open legal battles, especially not with major stars. But this time, the studio's decision feels like a seismic shift, a jolt through the core of Hollywood's power dynamics. Whispers quickly spread that the lawsuit stems from Blake's alleged use of sensitive Deadpool information for her own personal gain. The rumor suggested that she might have leaked crucial plot points or secrets about the Deadpool franchise, possibly to deflect negative press surrounding her other professional disputes. To say fans were stunned would be an understatement. Could it really be true? Could Blake, once beloved for her image as the picture of warmth and charm, have crossed a line so deep into Marvel's closely guarded secrets that the studio felt the need to intervene? Tensions had been building for months, particularly around Blake's involvement in a new film project with director Justin Baldoni. The announcement of the collaboration had initially generated excitement. Blake, a Hollywood darling with a polished reputation, joining forces with a director known for his emotional and heartfelt storytelling. However, it wasn't long before friction began to show. Blake allegedly took issue with Justin's multi-hat approach.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walk.
He was not only directing the film but had co-written the script and intended to star in it as well. On set, Blake reportedly began to feel sidelined, overshadowed by Justin's broad creative control. Sources close to the production said Blake's creative contributions were being brushed aside. Despite her long-standing status in the industry, it seemed that Justin's tight grip on the project was causing unease. The situation came to a boiling point when Blake accused Justin of planting negative stories about her in the press, suggesting that his broad influence and connections allowed him to tarnish her reputation. At first, many believed her, rallying behind her as Hollywood women often do when confronted with allegations of being unjustly scrutinized. However, things took a turn when Justin released a string of text messages that painted a very different picture.
Thriller,
it's a good mix
and
of
it's
both.
like, yeah, it's like really kind of over the top and campy and trashy and fun and like, kind of like my outfit, I guess.
The exchanges revealed Blake threatening to leverage her power circle, a group rumored to include her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and influential media contacts, to force Justin's compliance. In these texts, Blake spoke of dragons and made urgent calls to media figures, hinting at a behind-the-scenes campaign to shift the narrative in her favor. The public perception quickly began to shift. No longer was Blake the victim of an unfair Hollywood power structure. Instead, she was being painted as a manipulator, someone willing to bend the truth and use her connections to dominate a situation. Blake's relationship with the press had already become a topic of public conversation, but it wasn't until the focus turned to Deadpool that things got truly explosive. Marvel's prized franchise had been propelled to the heights of box office success, largely thanks to Ryan Reynolds' masterful portrayal of the irreverent anti-hero.
He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the
synergy between Ryan's comedic chops and the character had made him virtually irreplaceable. As Deadpool's fame grew, so too did Ryan's power within Marvel, and by extension, the studio's delicate intellectual property. The idea that Blake could have potentially used confidential Deadpool details to shift public attention away from her personal battles seemed far-fetched. But the rumor mill was running wild. Could she have leaked or hinted at classified information about upcoming Deadpool plot points, or perhaps even secrets about the next movie's cameos to distract from her negative press? It seemed unlikely, but in Hollywood, nothing was ever off the table. And that's when Marvel's legal team stepped in. In a formal statement, the studio confirmed that an unnamed individual had misused confidential Deadpool information. While Marvel's announcement did not explicitly name Blake Lively, insiders quickly confirmed that she was the one under fire. According to sources close to the matter, Marvel believed Blake had intentionally leaked secrets about Deadpool's future to cover up the ongoing disputes in her personal and professional life. The response from the entertainment industry was swift and explosive. Marvel had never filed such an aggressive legal action against an actor's spouse, especially not one as high-profile as Blake Lively. This wasn't your typical Hollywood drama. This was something much bigger. A personal dispute, Blake versus Justin, had now evolved into a high-stakes battle that involved one of the biggest franchises in the world. Blake's representatives were quick to issue a denial, claiming that she had never had access to Deadpool's secrets and that the lawsuit was unfounded. They accused Marvel of using her as a scapegoat for broader leaks within the company. But that argument was swiftly challenged by the overwhelming evidence. Text messages between Blake and Justin that painted a picture of a woman using her influence, perhaps even weaponizing her connections, to further her own agenda. The drama quickly overshadowed even Ryan Reynolds' usually steady comedic presence. Fans and commentators alike were left wondering, how would Ryan respond? Would he stand by his wife publicly, potentially causing a rift with Marvel? Or would he align himself with the studio's concerns, possibly at the expense of his own marriage? Ryan, typically quick with a quip or a social media joke, fell silent. Some speculated that he was quietly crafting a defense strategy, while others wondered if he might be conflicted. How could he stand by while his own wife faced such serious allegations? It wasn't just a battle for public opinion. It was a matter of balancing his professional success with his personal life. The legal battle intensified when Justin Baldoni, who had unintentionally set this chain of events in motion, became embroiled in his own media frenzy. When the text messages between him and Blake were made public, many outlets reached out to him for comment. Justin, ever the professional, maintained his focus on finishing the film he had been working on, though he did acknowledge that if Blake had indeed used Deadpool's secrets in her media war, it was far more serious than he had initially realized. Meanwhile, rumors of leaked Deadpool details began to surface. Smaller entertainment websites claimed to have received tips about upcoming cameos or plot twists, and some of the timestamps on these leaks matched the periods when Blake had been under the most scrutiny for her public disputes. Could it be? Was Blake really using her inside knowledge of Deadpool to shift the public narrative? The speculation was impossible to ignore, especially in a courtroom setting. The stakes grew higher as the legal complaint from Marvel hinted at significant potential damages, both economic and reputational. Marvel was seeking more than just financial compensation. They wanted an injunction to prevent any further leaks of Deadpool's highly protected information. The prospect of depositions became more likely. Would Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have to hand over their phones, emails, and text logs? Would more private conversations come to light, potentially damaging both their personal lives and their careers? Hollywood was left on edge, watching as the drama played out in the tabloids. Fans were torn. Some still refused to believe Blake could have sabotaged her husband's career. After all, Deadpool had been a game-changer for Ryan, propelling him to A-list status. Why would she risk it all? But others pointed to Blake's calculated approach to press and her handling of media narratives. Could she have been more interested in controlling her public image than protecting her husband's franchise? Was she willing to destroy a world she had helped build to regain control of her own story? As rumors continued to swirl, the public's fascination only grew. Would this lawsuit end in a swift settlement? Or would it escalate into a full-blown courtroom drama with far-reaching consequences for everyone involved? Fans waited with bated breath as each new day brought fresh speculation and no clear answers. The only certainty: this was no ordinary Hollywood dispute.